Welcome, everybody. My name is Jessica Ruland. I'm the director of our internship programs here at the Hobby School. And today I am joined by Harris Fellow Milan Sam. Milan is a junior who's pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Public Policy and a Master of Public Policy through one of our dual degree programs here at the Hobby School. He was placed in the Office of County Administration with the Research Analysts Division, and he is one of our very own Harris Fellows who has been assigned to various county offices as full-time interns over the summer. And today we're going to learn a little bit more about his experience, why he decided to pursue a public policy degree, how the curriculum and programs at the Hobby School have shaped his passion for public service. And I'm really excited to dive right in. Milan, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the really kind introduction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's really good to see you, as I said. Excited to talk more in depth about you and things all involved with public policy and internship programs. I've given our viewers a little bit of an introduction to yourself, but tell us a little bit more about you. What motivated you to pursue a public policy degree from the Hobby School?
I guess when I was motivated to pursue public policy, probably for two reasons. Now, one was for public service or community engagement, and the other was understanding the policies that were implemented in our government. Now, I remember watching the 2020 election news coverage and having a surface level understanding of some of the policies that were mentioned, like the child tax credit. Which was straightforward in its name, but I didn't understand any of the deeper aspects of the policy or the depth of it. So I guess like that would be like the how they were formulated. Was the evaluation process like, and how they were implemented and like to who. So to answer these questions, I decided to pursue a public policy as a career I want to go as a field I want to go into. And when the summer before my senior year of high school started, I remember finding the Hobby School website and noticing they had a relatively new undergraduate degree program for public policy. And although it was a newer program, they offered so many opportunities for students to learn more about the field, such as the Harris Fellows and Civic Houston Internship Program, which I participated in both. They also had the Hobby Fellows, William Fellows, just to name a few that they had. In comparison to other schools I had looked into, the Hobby School offered internship and fellowship opportunities that were geared towards student success in the program. Now, this was also alongside like the incredible professors they had, making in that sort of form why I wanted to make UH the first option, just because of the Hobby School. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think major kudos to you also for pursuing a dual degree, right? Getting your bachelor's and your master's. I think that's really fantastic. I think it's also great that you're taking advantage of the public policy undergraduate degree that, as you mentioned, the Hobby School has newly implemented. And mentioning our internship programs, there's quite a few of them. And you yourself, why we're here today, you were selected as a Harris Fellow. And it is one of our full-time paid internships that places students in county government each summer. And it's one of our more esteemed programs at the Hobby School. So I'm curious to know, what do you think makes the Harris Fellows program unique?
I think what makes Harris Fellows unique is that the fellowship considered my background and my goal in becoming a policy analyst. And it placed me into an office that was exactly where I felt fit in. Now, I was placed in the research and analysis division for the county, where I was able to learn in depth on like how the county crafts policy memos, how county policies are evaluated, and the difference between a policy recommendation and a suggestion. These were all aspects I really wanted to explore, and I was able to apply the material I had learned from the hobby school into the fullest during the fellowship. I also had the fellowship provide me like it provided me with a feel of professionalism, working a 9 to 5, and this is critical in whatever field you go into, and it prepares yourself, especially for me, in what my job would look like as a policy analyst. Now, on the monetary side of things, the program did offer a stipend, and that was a great help because it made sure that I was focused only on my work instead of other job commitments.
Great. Yeah. And you kind of already alluded to how you were matched, right, through Harris Fellows based off of your interests and your future career goals and based off of the conversations that you and I had around those topics. You were matched with the Harris County Office of Administration within the Research Analyst Division. So, can you share a few insights with our viewers about this office? What does this division do? Talk a little bit about the mission of the work that they're involved with, and also some of the projects that you've been working on over the course of this summer.
Of course. I think the research and analysis division basically just collects and analyzes data to evaluate, like, county policies and practices. Then it recommends these policies to county officials, ranging from the Harris County Commissioner Court's office to the Office of Management and Budget, just to name a few. Fun fact: RAD was also known as a Harris County Commissioner Court's analyst office, and then it was later changed to jurisdiction of the Office of County Administration. And that highlights the important work that they do. One of the first things I did notice was how flexible and easygoing they were, considering the work, because they handle one of the most important jobs in the county, working on research and creating policy recommendations. Now, despite this, they do offer a hybrid and remote schedule and a freedom to work on projects independently, and something I haven't seen in my previous work or internship experiences. And like this open and easygoing and very flexible environment made me creative in the work that I did, especially dealing with the bureaucratic constraints that were in government. And I think I have to also mention my amazing coworkers who made this experience just amazing. Like, I could not say enough about them. But during my time, I was also able to work on several projects because the office ensured I would be helpful in no matter what project we worked on. A project I recently finished was the county holiday project. I used a qualitative methodological approach to assess whether election day should be an official holiday for the county. I reached out to jurisdictions across the county. We assessed the data we received and interpreted through the presentation to the whole division. This was all made possible by the senior research manager, Layla. She was amazing and guiding step by step, and her leadership in the project made me understand a lot of things about research I didn't know before. I'm also currently working on the county website project, and that basically is finding ways and improving the county website. Currently, I'm conducting a literature review to get a background on the knowledge of like website design and functionality, so I'd be able to make those recommendations and to through a presentation that I'm working on right now.
That's really, really cool. And I'm excited to see kind of where that work takes you, and your findings. And, I think foundationally, one of the things that these internships set out to do is provide experiential learning opportunities for students outside the classroom. And so it's what allows them to bridge the gap between their academic knowledge and practical application. And I think you were kind of alluding a little bit to my next question, which is, in what ways did this particular experience allow you to leverage what you've learned in the classroom and, comparing it to what you're doing in this internship?
I think as a student at the hobby school, I was like really fortunate to apply the skills I learned from like the policy focused courses directly to the fellowship. For example, my policy analysis and theory course taught by Professor Heller, like I was able to gain a really strong understanding of like the fundamentals of what it's like to craft a policy memo, the various components involved, and like the evaluation process of a policy criteria. This knowledge was like it was really important, especially in my time at RAD, just because of the necessity to know how a policy memo works and how to interpret that data for our for the projects we work on. Now, I do wish I took the data visualization course that the hobby school offered. earlier, because hard skills like knowing like knowing data visualization applications such as Power BI or Tableau are important in policy research. So proficiency in these tools will be beneficial, and it will make data more effective during presentations and projects. So I'm luckily working on these skills during my fellowship, so I'm excited about that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it'll kind of give you a little bit of a leg up when you finally do join that course, right? Maybe you can teach your peers how to work with applications like Tableau, right? Um, well, it's inevitable that through these opportunities, there are going to be moments that leave an indelible mark on you, and that can be whether it's a connection that you made with an influential person, a skill that you gained, or a project that you completed that left a positive impact. So, what would you say has been your most memorable moment, and what did it teach you about yourself and public service?
I think narrowing it down to one is so hard, but I would say my most memorable moment was attending the Kinder Institute and Office of County Administration sponsored discussion on the Kinder Institute Houston area survey. And the reason why that was like really memorable was just because of the vast amounts of knowledge I was able to gain about the landscape of the city of Houston just through a simple research report. I also had like the opportunity to attend a luncheon where the senior leader from the institute discussed the report's findings in detail. I think I want to add, I don't want to just narrow it to one because I think it's unfair if I don't shout out the Mindful Justice Conference, which I attended last month. Through this conference, I learned a lot about criminal justice policy by talking to experts in the field, and learned how it worked not only in Harris County but in the U.S. as well. This was really helpful, and it was really fun just because of my co-intern at the office who attended, who has an interest in criminal justice policy. So she was able to teach me as well about some of the stuff, some of the lectures that were present at the event. So I love that event as well. Both of these events, I don't think I'll ever forget about it. So I love them.
Yeah, no, I think to your point, when these types of events are hosted, it brings together policy and conversation around this policy, and you learn something new, and you meet the people, the experts in the space. So I myself am a big fan when those events are put together because they're very invaluable. Your internship with Harris Fellows is actually coming to a close very, very soon. And I'm sure that these past 10 weeks have helped you grow and shape you as a professional and as an individual. And that growth happens through that learning. And I think it's really important and valuable to share with others what you know now, right? And so as you climb the ladder to success, it's pulling others up with you, right? It's not pulling that ladder up and leaving others behind. So, what advice would you give to your peers that are interested in pursuing a career in public service? And what is it that has helped get you where you are today?
So my advice to those interested in pursuing a career in public service is first like to ask yourself now, why do you want to pursue it? Is it to learn about local, state, or national politics? Is it to become engaged with your community? Do you have an interest in understanding public policy? If you answered yes to like any of these questions, then a career in public service might be for you. Now, I want to make a clear distinction for those who are interested in public service but don't know where they want to focus on, because that's where I was a few years back when I was trying to decide where I wanted to be in public service. And I think I'm going to mention the quote that I learned from my boss at Harris Fellows, which is understanding political science is like gathering parts for a laundry machine and building it, while understanding public policy is knowing how a laundry machine works. Now, this saying helped me clarify on the differences between these fields because they often feel really intertwined. So, no matter what area you do pursue, it's really important to network, communicate, and take initiative. Like these skills will help you navigate and learn how to succeed in this field. I want to also add that, like, if you have an interest in policy research, it's really important to know, like, you're going to be reading a lot of academic research and policy memos. And I definitely recommend reading these papers and memos as much as you can, just to prepare yourself and understanding the language that they use and the concepts they use as well. I I want to also say that like learning hard skills are incredibly important. Like I mentioned before, like data visualization is one of those skills. Understanding applications like Tableau or Power BI, or learning programming languages like Python will make sure that you're successful in this field. So I think that would be my advice. Just remember there is always a distinction in public service, and deciding which outlet you want to go in is really important for you to decide where you want to be at a few years from now. So that would be my advice.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic advice. I think you might have covered maybe everything in that. But Milan, we are coming to an end, and I just want to say thank you for sitting down with me today. Your involvement and your passion, both inside the classroom and outside the classroom, are very inspiring. And I'm hopeful that your experiences are what motivate others to seek out similar opportunities here at the Hobby School, whether it be our undergraduate programs or graduate programs or internship programs. There's a lot to get involved in and engaged with here. And I just sincerely appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope this helps whoever wants to pursue a career in public service.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it will. So, to those who want to learn more about our internship programs, I encourage you to visit our webpage, uh.edu/hobby